You see this, guys? Do you see this? We are 147 subscribers away from 1,000 subscribers. The goal is 1K by opening day. If you love the Boston Red Sox, this is the best channel. News, rumors, recaps, injury news, everything right here on the Red Sox Rundown. So can we get to that spicy, spicy number of 1,000 subscribers? I need to prove to the bosses that you guys want daily Red Sox videos. And the only way we can do that is if we get to 1,000 subscribers. So make sure you subscribe right now. Welcome into this edition of the Red Sox Rundown. I am your host, Jack Lotteray. On today's show, we have yet another Wilyer Abreu injury update. He spoke to the media. We're going to talk about his quotes. Are extensions coming for Garrett Crochet and maybe some of the prospects? Roman Anthony had an interesting quote that we'll talk about in a little bit. And last but not least, the Red Sox did make a signing last night that we will talk a little bit about. But let's start off with Wilyer Abreu. This is probably the biggest running story in Red Sox spring training right now. Brian Bayo, we kind of know where he stands. Wilyer is a little bit more of a question mark. He did speak to the media today and had a rather interesting quote on his status for opening day. He said, yeah, I think it's going to be enough time for sure. I still have a few weeks left to get ready for opening day, and I don't see that being a problem. I think I have sufficient time. Ladies and gentlemen, we have conflicting reports. We talked about the Alex Cora quotes a few days ago and how I was not convinced by Cora's quotes that Wilyer was going to be ready. But now Wilyer is saying he thinks he's going to have ample time to get ready. He's going to have ample time to add on the mass that he needs. But again, Alex Cora doesn't seem convinced. Let's look at the quote that he had. We talked about this again a few days ago, but let's rehash it. We'll see where he is physically. We can help him with at bats, the trajectory, the minor league at bats, and all of that. I think the physical part, he lost a little bit, lost some mass. Hopefully he can regain that and be ready. Look, I'm just going to tell you the way it is. I personally believe he's going to be ready to go. Wilyer said a few days before the Alex Cora quote that he thought that losing that weight from that GI virus, he thought that losing that mass actually was going to help him. A little leaner, a little thinner. He thought that that was actually going to be a catalyst that would help propel him and get him ready for opening day. And now Abreu is talking to reporters and saying, oh yeah, I'm going to have plenty of time. I love Alex Cora. I love him to death. But I'm going to believe the player. If the player says he's ready to go, I'm going to believe him. However, Kristian Campbell getting outfield reps is still interesting. This is still something to monitor. He had 2 straight days in left field after some of these quotes were coming out. So are you just testing his versatility, which is something they said they were going to do throughout spring training? Or are there some alarm bells regarding Wilyer Abreu? Are you thinking, okay, this is a plan B if Wilyer's not ready to go? I personally think it probably has to do with testing the versatility of Kristian Campbell and really trying to get Kristian Campbell on the opening day roster. But again, we have conflicting reports. Alex Cora thinks one thing. Wilyer thinks another thing. I think he's going to be on the opening day roster, but you let me know. Is Wilyer going to be ready for opening day? If you think he will, like me and like Wilyer, type Y for yes. If you think no, like Cora, he didn't specifically say no, but his quote didn't sound convincing. Type an N for no. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. I want to hear from you. All right, let's talk about some extension talk. These are straight up rumors. Roman Anthony spoke. He was on the, I believe, Baseball Isn't Boring podcast, if I remember correctly. Please, if I'm wrong, do forgive me. But he talked about extension talks and would he be open to signing an extension? Is that something he's thinking about? He had a few interesting quotes, which I wanted to talk about because extension talks for Roman Anthony and Kristian Campbell are something that we should be monitoring. This is what Roman Anthony had to say when he was talking about his priorities in camp. Honestly, for me right now, there's one goal, and it's to make the opening day roster. Being out here with these guys and these resources, the last thing I want to do is have something take my mind off of that. So that's great and all. That's great that Anthony is prioritizing making the opening day roster. Does he have a shot? Yes, slim shot. I personally would not project him making the opening day roster. Will he make his major league debut this year? Yes, I think that that's all but guaranteed. But will he make the opening day roster? I wouldn't be so sure. Honestly, what I think there is a better chance of is him signing an extension. So just because he says he hasn't thought about it, that doesn't mean he hasn't ever thought about it. Here's a quote that he has to say about potentially signing an extension with the Red Sox. He says, "There's a number for everyone. Everyone believes in themselves in different ways and values themselves in different ways. I value myself very highly," which he should. "I want to be a Red Sox for as long as I can. But it would have to be something for me that was an absolute no-brainer." Make it happen yesterday. If you're listening, Craig Breslow, if you're listening, John Henry, make it happen yesterday. Find out what that number is and make it happen. You know why? Because you need to follow the Atlanta Braves playbook. What the Atlanta Braves have done is they have constructed a sustainable winner for the next decade. And the way they've done that is by signing their young stars to long-term, cheaper contracts. Guys, Ronald Acuna Jr. I think Ronald Acuna Jr., even with his ACL injury last year, is still a top 10 player in baseball. You locked him down to an 8-year, $100 million deal. That is what my friends at Chat Sports like to call highway robbery. Follow this playbook. Roman Anthony and Kristian Campbell should be extended as soon as possible. I don't think that Marcelo Meyer conversation, I don't think should happen yet because he needs to prove he can stay healthy. But Roman Anthony, Kristian Campbell, as they are still relatively unproven commodities, you should get them on the cheap. I think you can give Kristian Campbell the Jackson Chourio extension of I think it was 8 years, $82 million. Give him that yesterday. Extend Roman Anthony for 10 years. Make him retire a Red Sox. Do it now. Do not wait, because when these guys eventually this season break the big league roster, their price is only going to go up and only going to get higher. Do it now. However, that is not priority number one for me, though. We've talked about this already. We've talked about this ad nauseum. The top priority is to extend Garrett Crochet. And every time he gets on the bump, his price goes up. That includes today against the Tampa Bay Rays. 3 innings pitched, the most he's gone this spring training. He allowed 2 hits. He allowed no runs. He allowed 1 walk, and he struck out 7 batters in 3 innings pitched. He struck out the side twice. Garrett Crochet is the Boston Red Sox ace. I know he didn't do a full season last year. I know last season there were limits on his innings in the second half of the season. I know last year was only his first year as a starter. I know people say, especially in the Chat Sports office, that his elbow tendon is going to snap at some point during the season, which I would never wish that on anyone. I don't know why the frauds, I'm going to call him out. I don't know why Jeffrey Cooperstein would wish that on somebody. Garrett Crochet is the ace of the Boston Red Sox, and you need to extend him for an eternity. He is your next Pedro. He is your next Clemens. He is your next Sale. He is your next, was you consider Beckett? I don't know. He's your next ace. And he talked about an extension on the Section 10 podcast. This is what he had to say about extension talks. The pace of extension talks has been constant throughout the entire offseason, and I expect that to continue. Please make it happen. I'm begging you. Please make it happen. Bring me full screen, Moose. I just need to have a heart-to-heart real quick with Craig Breslow, the GM of the Boston Red Sox, and John Henry, the owner of the Boston Red Sox. I've said this a million times. I truly, firmly believe that Garrett Crochet has the potential of being the next Tarek Skubal. I think Garrett Crochet has the potential to win the 2025 American League Cy Young. Extend him, please. Do I need to get down on my hands and knees and pray? Please extend Garrett Crochet for the next however many years. Because I am going to tell you again, just like the prospects, every time Garrett Crochet hits the bump this season, his price is only going to go up. Follow the Braves blueprint. Excuse me. I'm so emotional right now. Follow the Braves blueprint. Get these guys cheap. John Henry doesn't want to spend money. Then don't spend money. Get them cheap so that you don't have to spend money in the future. Or, God forbid, you have to trade them away because you don't want to give them an extension. Mookie Betts, Xander Bogaerts, don't let that happen again. Extend your stars. But you let me know. Rant over, all done. I had to get it out. What's your top priority? Is it Garrett Crochet type 1? Is it the top prospects? Kristian Campbell, Roman Anthony, Marcelo Meyer. Give me a 2. It's definitely a 1 for me. I am spamming 1 down below in the comments, but you let me know. What is your top priority this offseason? Before we get out of here, one quick news note. Reliever Jose De Leon agreed to a minor league deal with the Red Sox a little later last night. He spent time bouncing back and forth between various teams in the big leagues. He actually did have a minor league deal with the Red Sox in 2021. He suffered from numerous injuries. He did have an elbow injury at one point as well. But this winter ball, he's been really good. Go look up his stats during the winter. He's been pretty locked down. This is going to be minor league depth. He didn't even get a non-roster invite to spring training. Like, this guy's going to be in the minors. If he shows something interesting, or if he shows that he's got the juice, he could spend the season in AAA. But don't expect to see him on the Major League roster. If we're talking about him on the Major League roster, something doomsday scenario has gone wrong for the Boston Red Sox. But it is a signing that happened. It's an interesting one to say the least. And yeah, there we go. Before we get out of here, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for taking the time to watch another episode of the Red Sox Rundown. Like I already said, I can taste it. We are so close to 1,000 subscribers, only 147 away. I want to start doing daily videos, and the boss has said that that could happen if we got to 1,000 subs by opening day. So don't miss out. Hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you next time.